Alright, so this is my official review of the SVS PB-2000 Pro Series subwoofer. And I'm pretty geeked about this one, and you'll understand why the more I get into it. But first off, I just reached 15,000 subscribers, and for me, to kind of put it into context, I started this channel when I believed I had fibromyalgia, right? It turns out that was just a symptom. This was really all due to traumatic brain injury, post-concussion syndrome from an accident 19 years ago. And so it's been a really challenging thing to do do this whole channel and to make videos, edit them, things like that. And so I appreciate all of the support, and I appreciate the understanding. It really means a lot to me, and it's you watching right now, and it's your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, all that stuff that has made any of this possible, and I'm just super grateful for all of that. So truly, thank you. So my goals on this particular review are to answer specific questions and help you figure out if these are the right subs for you personally. I have gotten a lot, and I do mean a lot, of requests to get this review done. I've had other videos that I've shot and have ready to shoot and things like that, but everyone is just really kind of hounding me about this one, and I understand it. I really do. You know, the original PB-2000 was my first attraction to SVS. It's why I wanted the affiliate program. It was just, it's as deep as you can hear. It's powerful, it's explosive, and it's clean. You know, it's really a high value subwoofer, and it also happens to be, you know, the 2000 series happens to be SVS's best-selling subwoofer. And so it's really, you know, this revamp is pretty vital. SVS can't afford to screw this up. It's way too important. I'm going to be going over my likes and my dislikes of it. You know, there's a couple things I really like about it. There's a couple little things that, you know, I'm not so excited about, but I'm going to go over everything with you. Also, another thing I want to touch on is that I'm not obligated to go easy on these subs. I'm really not. My relationship with SVS is not exclusive, nor is it sponsored. My only compensation is if you follow my links and buy what I recommend. So, and I wanted it that way because I didn't want to feel obligated to say nice things about products that I might not be excited about, okay? For example, you won't find any sealed subs from any subwoofer manufacturer on my best subwoofers list. The reason for that is I can't tolerate sealed subs. It sucks. It's due most likely to the post-concussion syndrome and the TBI that I suffered. It tends to amplify hearing and vision, so you know, you have a hard time tolerating bright lights, you have a hard time with loud noises, things like that. So my ears are sensitive, but not in a good braggy way. They're sensitive in a fragile, sad way. So, but I can't tolerate sealed subs. And so had this been a, you know, captive arrangement or a sponsorship of sorts, you know, I'd be obligated to say nice things about sealed subs. And I can't get behind it. I can't tolerate them enough to listen to it. So, and I think that's important to talk about because there are people who do have hearing issues like that, you know, people that suffer from migraines and things like that. And I think it's important to know that in general, ported subwoofers are more comfortable than sealed if you have sensitive hearing. Other people love sealed subs, and I definitely don't fault them for it. I truly don't. It's just one of those things that I unfortunately have a problem with. So first I'll cover my biggest dislikes, which fortunately are pretty easily remedied. They're not these tragic things. They're definitely not deal breakers for me, but they are things that I kind of wished weren't so. And probably my biggest gripe is the new grill. The new grill is cloth, and it's not the metal grill that typically comes on all the higher end SVS subs. So I like the metal grill because it's more durable. I have dogs who have hair and slobber, and that gets on the cloth grills, and it's a lot more difficult to get that out, whereas you just take a damp cloth and wipe down the metal grill, it's a piece of cake. And I like the look of the metal grill. It stands out. That said, I can understand why they went that route because it's a more traditional look. It's not as much of a standout look. I have talked to some viewers who were turned off by the metal grill. So, you know, it may be a better thing anyway. Also, this may have something to do with the way room correction just did things. I might be able to run room correction again and not have this issue. But what I've noticed is that the PB-2000 Pros are a little heavy in the infrasonics. And when I say heavy in the infrasonics, I'm talking about relative infrasonics. Someone gave me a bunch of, flack about not liking infrasonics. I do like infrasonics. I like them at a certain relative level. When you have more infrasonic bass than you have audible bass, to me, that gets uncomfortable. And fortunately, this is another easy fix. And it's actually a really fun fix. So you can go in and adjust the PEQs on the SVS app, right? And basically I just set the one PEQ is all I had to do. I didn't have to mess with all three of them. And I just set 29 hertz at a 2.5 boost at 2.5 Q. And what that did is that bumped up that range right around 20 to 35 hertz, somewhere in there. You can see the graph and you can see what I'm talking about. It just filled that in a bit more, and it made it to where it had more audible bass, so relatively there wasn't as much infrasonic bass. So the infrasonic bass didn't really change, it's just relative to the audible bass, you had more audible bass going on. And so to me, that's just, it sounded great at that point. And it's a lot of fun. Doing that particular fix with these subs was, it was amazing. The explosiveness at this price point is incredible. It really is, especially when you apply that PEQ adjustment I was talking about. It's amazing. I mean, you've got scenes like The Accountant. It really comes through with that. And you can test that by just going back and forth. You can turn the PEQs on, turn the PEQs off, and see what I'm talking about. You get a lot more explosiveness just by adjusting it. And I've run that boost all the way up from 2.5 up to 4. So I've had fun with it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, The Accountant, Hacksaw Ridge, Ready Player One, and Billie Eilish, her stuff is amazing. And it just all sounds so good. I'm really just loving the sound of these. And on top of that, I was getting text messages from my wife, because I'll leave and she'll do her thing and she'll go through and listen to music, and she's texting me like, these subs are amazing, and that's that's a great vote, honestly. But yeah, the new driver and the new amp are really the secret sauce here. It sounds a lot more than a 50 watt difference. So the originals were 500 watts. These are 550 watts RMS. It doesn't sound like it's only 50 watts better. It sounds more like 600-700 watts better. It really does. And they did this with the PB-2000s. They took an 800 watt amplifier and made it sound like a 1,000 to 1,200 watt amplifier in terms of that explosiveness, in terms of that impact. They did a really good job with that, and they continued that with the 2000 series, with the 2000 Pro series. So it's really a bit of magic, and I'm really impressed by it. I talk about premium bass, and premium is not how I would have described the original PB-2000 or the PB-1000. Premium to me starts at the PB-3000 level and up, because you get that increased impact. It's a more solid bass. It's a more impressive bass. Even though you're listening at the same levels, it's just got this extra touch to it, this extra strength, and it's noticeable. You feel it more, and it's like the bass has a better grip. It's hard to explain, but I'm talking at the same listening levels, okay? And so I would not have described the original PB-2000s as premium, but the PB-2000 Pros are absolutely premium, in my opinion. It's definitely noticeable. If you're going from the original to the Pro and you're making that upgrade, yeah, I think you'll notice it. I think you will. It's really good. The difference is noticeable. It's not a mild change. They didn't just put a different driver and amp in there, and I mean, they did, but it's not just a simple upgrade. They really did make it sound better. So to answer one of the questions that I've already gotten, is it worth upgrading from the original PB-2000 to the PB-2000 Pro? And for me, yes, absolutely. Honestly, I feel like if you can't notice the difference, you should legitimately get your hearing checked. And I'm not being a smart guy here. I really do think it's that big of a difference. It's noticeable, especially in terms of impact and things like that. You will notice it. You will notice it going from the original to the Pro. So there's that question. I know I'll get this question. Should you go with a single Pro or dual originals? For sure, 100% dual originals, okay? Duals are vital. You know, I would even go so far as to say I would get dual PB-1000s over a single PB-2000 Pro. It really does make that much of a difference. It's definitely worth splitting your budget. If you can't pull off two PB-2000 Pros, go with the dual smaller ones, split your budget. Get what you can, but get them in duals. It really does make a difference. And with the 1-year trade up, if you go factory direct, you can trade up and you can get into the Pros eventually. So that would be my choice. Now this is another one. Should you get a single PB-3000 or a 4000 or dual Pros? Again, this is pretty easy for me. Dual Pros all day long. Dual PB-2000 Pros are going to sound better than a 4000 or a 3000 as a single. Now what about dual PB-3000 versus dual PB-2000 Pros? You know, how good are these? Are these so good that you don't need to worry about the 3000s? I still think the PB-3000s are better in every way. And if you can pull those off, I would do it. I think it's worth the price difference to go from dual PB-2000 Pros to dual PB-3000s. I really think that you'll notice the difference. It's just better in every way, you know, more impact and things like that. So here's another question. Is the PB-2000 Pro worth the extra $100 over the original PB-2000? My answer to that is abso-friggin-lutely. It's, you know, the better amp, the better driver, having the app, having the adjustability, all the control that you get with the 2000 Pros, absolutely. It is absolutely worth the $100 price difference. You know, and the thing to me is the PB-2000 Pro is affordable premium bass, okay? It's not cheap, okay? I'm not saying it's cheap. I'm saying it's more attainable for more people. There's a reason why the 2000 series does so well. It's at a price point that more people can afford. You know, dual PB16 Ultras are amazing, but how many of my viewers can actually do that? It's definitely a smaller percentage than those who could afford dual PB-2000 Pros. So to me, it's exciting because it reaches that premium level of bass, but still being attainable. I'll also say that it's easily the best upgrade you will make to your theater at this price, okay? Easily. And to kind of explain that and drive that point home, I'm a big fan of Denon and Marantz. I like the Odyssey XT32 a lot. I think it's worth doing. And so if you have a basic, you know, cheap AVR or even a less expensive Denon AVR that's like a couple $100, $500, whatever, and you went and you upgraded to a $1,500 to a $2,000 AVR, so like an X4500 or an X6500, is the difference going to be as much as it would be if you went from basic subwoofers to PB-2000 Pros? Not a chance. No, these are just so much more exciting than your typical subwoofer. You're going to notice a lot more bang for your buck, literally, by going with dual PB-2000 Pros. I mean, literally, it's exciting for the amount of money you spent. Now, I will do a few cautions about these subs. Definitely go dual. Another thing is turn up the gain, okay? With SVS subs, and basically all the subs on my list, really, they have this flatter response, so this very deep sounding response. And what that means is you can turn it up more before it sounds overdone. And so you can turn it up and just keep turning up the gain until it sounds overdone, and then back it down just to where it doesn't. And, you know, it'll take some time playing with it, but that's basically my adjusting subs by ear hack. But you'll also want to check out the gain hack, the distance hack, and the crossover hack. Those are all noticeable changes that you can make that'll get more out of subs like these. So I'm trying to be better about recommending that more often. A lot of times people will say, well, oh, this sub wasn't quite as loud as this other sub. Well, yeah, turn it up. If you look at the response graph, and you can see when it's at the same level SPL wise, it's going to be quieter in the mid-bass range. But if you match the mid-bass range to a typical subwoofer, you're going to get the same amount of mid-bass, but you're going to get gobs more low-end output, just gobs, and it sounds so good. But yeah, that's the whole trick, is you can run more bass than you ever thought possible before it sounds overdone. And the PEQ fix that I talked about earlier, that just kind of adds to that. And so it's like just a little bit more seasoning. It's a fun thing to do. Also, if you have a noisy floor, I highly recommend isolation and maybe not going with the PC-2000 Pros. Those are the cylinder subs that are downfiring. My room has a very noisy floor. I don't have a concrete subfloor. When I stomp on the floor, it makes a big old noise. Okay, the whole floor does. And so for me, isolation is an absolute must. That said, even if I had a noisy floor but I had issues with space and I needed the cylinders, then go with the cylinders. But if you can go with the box style and the front firing subs as opposed to the down firing, for me it made a difference. So, and having the isolation makes a huge difference as well. But overall, yeah, this is the easiest sub for me to recommend. I do believe it is the most consequential subwoofer that SVS has ever made. I know the PB-16 Ultra is amazing. I really love the PB-2000, but this one, it makes it more attainable for more people. It's a premium level bass that more people can afford, and that's exciting to me. I wish subs like this cost $200, really. I do, because then everybody would be able to afford them. It wouldn't be such a big deal. But good bass is expensive, unfortunately. But this makes it attainable to have premium level bass at this price. So for me, I just think that's great. And having this level of functionality and control is just phenomenal. If you're gonna ask what kind of subwoofer best represents the type of bass that I enjoy the most, that I'm always excited about, always wanting to tell people about, it's this right here. This is the kind of bass that makes me excited, that is fun. It really changes the whole sound of your system. It can make terrible speakers sound good. Okay, deep bass does amazing things. And these subs and the PB-3000s and the 16 Ultras, those are all phenomenal. But these subs in particular, they really do a lot for me because of their attainability. It's also a good idea to get familiar with Room EQ Wizard. You can shape the curve a lot easier than with using something like the Mini DSP 2x4, which I've used. A lot of people have been asking me to make a video about that. And honestly, for me to do it right, it's going to take about an hour to an hour and a half to go over all the things that you need to do. It's not simple. There's a lot of pitfalls. There's a lot of issues that get in the way when you're using a Mini DSP 2x4. You can get some great results. I am not saying that you can't get phenomenal results using the Mini DSP 2x4. What I'm saying is the ability to use it just on the app, by using the PEQs just on the SVS app, is just so much more easy. It's so simple and it's so quick. You don't have to worry about timing issues. You don't have to worry about any of the pitfalls that you normally have to worry about when you're dealing with the Mini DSP 2x4. So again, that's not a shot against the Mini DSP 2x4. I like it, but it is complicated. It's not a simple thing. It's not plug and play, not by any means. So in summary, yes, I frigging love these subs. They're exciting at this price. I have several other videos to shoot. I want to shoot a video on infrasonics and cover that topic, subwoofer spacing, things like that. I had to get this video out because I had so many messages and people just really kind of blowing me up over it. So that's my review. Hopefully that helps you figure out whether these subs are right for you, or whether you want to go with something a little higher up, or whether you should go something a little cheaper because you want to get duals. Hopefully I've answered the questions that you would need to know in deciding which subs you need to get. That's always my goal. Let me know if you disagree or if you agree, if you've had these, what you think. I'm curious to get the feedback, but I'm really liking them a whole lot. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe.